Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. This is your host, Alex Reevy, along with the BALI basket weaver herself, Sandy Reevy. Say hi.
Hi, that was our early morning workshop class.
And it is episode 245, April 3rd. Let's get right into it.
Salamat pagi.
Good morning.
Thank you.
And in the transits, we have Monday, April 3rd, Mercury ingress Taurus.
In a fixed sign for 2.5 months.
Same day, Mercury square Pluto.
A standoff.
And Wednesday, April 5th, Mercury sextile Saturn.
The first of 3, and of serious matters.
Same day, full moon at 16 degrees of Libra.
At 11:34 p.m. in Chicago time. Forgiveness and gratitude for healing.
And Friday, April 7th, Venus sextile Neptune.
Enrich your life.
And same day, Mercury into shadow.
Recalibrate early.
And to wrap up the week, Saturday, April 8th, Mercury sextile Mars.
Get an answer.
Then in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up 2 BALI talismans and 2 upcoming to promote advancement and to see. Then the talisman of the month we will be announcing, so don't miss out on that. And on the horizon, we have a webinar coming up, our Greece retreat, and dates for the next Bali retreat. Then in our house, I have made it to Bali, and the 2023 Bali retreat is underway, so tune in to hear all that has been happening. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars.
Hello, basket weaver.
How cool is that? First time we've ever done an offering. We see offerings on the floor, in the temple. People spend
along the sidewalks, in front of buildings, in front of shrines, in front of
the deities, the gods,
houses. Yeah.
And they do this every day, sometimes 3 times a day. And there's some people's jobs are just making offerings, particularly in each of the house and the family, compounds. And we've never known how to do it. So we booked and man, we were learning all kinds of things. And the people were, the group was just like, wow, this is so cool. Because we each had a chance to make several offerings. And some people are like, we're going to do this every day of our lives, right? So that was really special.
It was. And we'll talk more about that in our house. So I want to go direct to all of you.
Can you hear the
You can hear the cicadas, you can hear the birds chirping, the waterfall, the little fountain we have next to our room. We're looking out on some rice paddies, some beautiful greenery and flowers.
And coconut trees.
Yeah, big palm trees.
Oh, and there's the clove tree.
Oh, right. And a clove tree. So that's where we are. And you might be hearing those sounds in the background, but it's all...
We welcome it.
It's all, yeah.
That's what we're here for.
All a part of Bali. So going direct to you all, thank you so much for listening in to our podcast. Remember to send in your feedback. Email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. Or give us one of those 5-star reviews that we love so much on wherever you listen to this podcast. So let's move into the transits. We have, starting off the week with Monday, April 3rd, we have 2 transits. The first, Mercury ingress Taurus.
So Mercury moves into this fixed Earth sign, and he will retrograde here. Mercury will be retrograding in Earth signs this entire year. So, which is called the triad, right? So here he moves into the slow moving, but a great time to follow through, to have those follow throughs. What have you been working on that need a little bit more time, a little bit more description, a little bit more inquiry, curiosity, answering questions, that kind of thing. It's a great time to reorganize things that have been maybe put off to the side. Because this is the sign, the Earth sign, that he'll, like I said, retrograde now, because he'll get ready to retrograde toward the end of April. In fact, this week will mark that week, the day that he moves into shadow. But it doesn't mean he retrogrades when he goes into shadow. So think about all the subjects, think about everything all the way through, right? So the slow, it's not quick.
Methodical.
Mercury moves out of the sign of Aries, where he was very fast in making decisions, into now the slow, the slow Earth, right? Like
One foot in front of the other,
Yeah.
very patient, sometimes not even moving at all.
maybe stubborn. So watch being stubborn on trying to make decisions that you were easily made last week.
So later that day, we also have Mercury square Pluto.
This could be a standoff. And, if we're recording this on Monday here in Bali,
From the future.
So actually some of this energy that we're talking about on Monday, like as here, everyone in the States will be preparing for this when they wake up tomorrow. We're experiencing it right now, which is interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So anything else about that Mercury square Pluto?
Yeah, it's a standoff. It's a standoff. Be aware of harsh accusations from you or from others, right? It's a square. So Mercury is, kind of the ability to, what are you hearing? What are you understanding? What's the communication? What are people saying to you, about you, that you might be misunderstanding? Because it's Pluto. So it's Pluto. It can be harsh. It can be, is it somebody that's jealous? Is it somebody that's intense? Is it
Someone
somebody
that
that's
shoots from the hip in the standoff.
Yeah, and how much is it? How much is it? Is it real for you or real for them? So it can come from you or come to you. So instead of you may feel it. It may be a dart right to your gut, right? And you have to understand on a deeper level in order to make any changes. So is that kind of allowing one to think, let me clarify, ask clarifying questions, clear something up that was taken improperly as a dig. Sometimes we purposely dig people, like throw in a dart. But sometimes people take it as a thrown dart when it wasn't, right? So that's happening when Pluto, when this Mercury, the planet of communication, moves into a really harsh conflict with Pluto, the planet of what's really going on below the surface. Whose is it? Their surface or under your surface?
Right. And so we're moving on to Wednesday, April 5th, Mercury sextile Saturn.
And this is the first of 3 passes that Mercury will be meeting in a sextile. And again, this is a harmonious, opportunistic aspect to Saturn, one of the malefics. But this is on Wednesday. But then by Saturday, and I'm just popping ahead for a second to make this point, Mercury will be sextiling Mars. And so Mercury is what's called translating information, the planet of communication. So is there a negotiator or a third person trying to get Saturn to agree with Mars? So is there negotiations going on kind of as Mercury is getting ready to go into shadow, kind of behind the scenes, things that are going on? Is this something about war? Is this something about, boundaries? We may not find this out until May period, maybe even early June. So just be curious what in your life is of serious matter. So let's get back to Wednesday, and then I'll follow up on that Saturday, as I mentioned. But Mercury in a sextile to Saturn is great for solving problems. Let's get the clear vision. What is our path? What could be the obstacles in our way? But I want to bring up the fact that Mercury is going to be going into shadow in a few days, which is on Saturday, where you and he will be revisiting these same subjects, these same plans. However, go ahead with the plans that you have been navigating for some time. And new plans may, and I really mean, will need more time to simmer. So it's kind of like you have your answer, your idea, move with it. You don't need to wait to make the changes, because part of that will be right. You'll find out over the next 2 weeks what parts of that need to be revisited or reconstructed. But go ahead and move forward, right? All of those quick ideas that have been coming in the last 3 weeks with Mercury and Aries, like all these great thoughts, now into Taurus says, what are you going to do with them? How are you going to create some earthy, tangible item or thing that you can actually hold in your hands? So go ahead and make those plans. It's the details of the serious matter.
And later that day, the full moon at 16 degrees of Libra.
And this happens at 11:34 p.m. in Chicago. This is forgiveness and gratitude for healing. Say niceties to others that will make you feel better, right? By being pleasant and high and smiling. And because this full moon, if we think about it, the sun is in Aries and the moon is in Libra in opposite placement. But in moving with the sun in Aries is Jupiter and Chiron. And so I really think this is a forgiveness and gratitude for healing. Why else would you want to be grateful, right? Why else would you want to be in a forgiving placement of, I'm sorry, I love, kind of Oponopono, I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, kind of in gratitude.
Oponopono.
Oh, yeah, thank you. My Mercury in Pisces really wins out every time when I don't know. So I like this full moon, and here in Bali, we're going to a special pyramids of Chi after we walk a ridge trail.
Right in the middle of the mountains and valleys of the jungle.
And we're going up to pyramids of Chi for a sound bath, a full moon ceremony, and dinner.
Yep.
Yeah.
So moving on to later in the week, Friday, April 7th, we have Venus sextile Neptune.
And this was with reception. Venus is in Taurus. Yay, this is where she rules. She's in domicile here. But she's making an opportunistic aspect with Neptune in her sign where she's exalted Pisces. So this is really nice placement. This is to enrich your life. It's ease, it's soft, it's compassion, it's love. It's the tangible earth products to help soothe all the uncomfortables into more comforts. It's a great creative time to be with others.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exploring, learning new different healing modalities even.
And that's what we're doing. We've been to a healer. There's some girls going again.
Body work with massages. We're doing
meditation. And just the aha of listening to their simple ways of life.
Yeah. Okay.
Right now the girls are learning how to make jamu, which is the mother's medicine milk of turmeric and tamarind and ginger and honey.
It's delicious here.
Which is their medicine drink.
And so Friday, April 7th, later in the day, we have Mercury into shadow.
So this is at 5 degrees of Taurus where Mercury will come all the way back to. So it's just recalibrate early. Mark on your calendar on this day, the 7th, anything that comes across your calendar, your email, your text message that you give out or you receive, maybe needing a recalibration later down the road. And that's okay. You can start asking questions here.
And to wrap up the week, we end the week with Saturday, April 8th, Mercury sextile Mars. And that's what you were preemptively discussing in regards to that Wednesday transit.
Right, because Mercury is doing the translating from one malefic to the other malefic. And Mercury here is really wanting an answer because he's in Taurus. So get an answer. Now, it's it's an impactful question, make an impactful statement, and have an impactful response. Make up your mind today, reflect on April 23rd as we move forward, and finish with your plan and move forward on June 21st. Now, I just gave you the dates when this Mercury will be making this sextile aspect to Mars. However, something very interesting occurs while we get to the third pass. And, by June 21st, a lot of movement is happening by the other planets. And as Mercury makes this aspect back to Mars, Mercury's in his own sign of Gemini because Mars has moved on, right?
Okay.
And so Mars is in Leo. So Mars here is out of his detriment in Cancer, where he is for pass number 1, pass number 2. Mars gets stronger at the third pass.
Prouder.
On June 21st. And more able and strong and more maybe forceful, right? More, like you say, proud, more brave.
Right.
And Mercury is in his sign of Gemini of having more of the details and of the information, maybe the program ready. So I really like this combination. The first, second is when, we're talking about, earth sign, water sign. And then we talk about air sign, fire sign at the end. So it holds all four elements.
Yeah.
With this too, of like how you're going to move forward. What's the action step that you're going to take?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a wrap on our upcoming week. So let's move on to talisman times. You had finished up 2, and those talisman have sold. I'll briefly describe them here. The first, to attract dignity. I am faithful, stable, charming, and self-assured. I turn on my magnetism to captivate and in my intended desire. This comes easily to me. And the other, to increase personal vitality. My vibrancy, exuberance, and liveliness is expanding. I feel my life force engaging with the world. I experience the verve.
Right, and that's just all Sun in Aries, where the Sun is exalted and the Sun has this warmth and fiery action, just like the first day of spring.
Yes. So the upcoming talismans, we have 2 new coming up next week, and that is Monday, April 10th, to promote advancement.
I am seen for my creative and natural effervescence. In a sense, I sit on my own throne of glory and charisma.
Yeah.
Again, we have the Sun exalted in Aries. Now we get this for 30 days every year. The fact that we're doing this, I'm making this in Ubud, which is the medicine of the country of Bali. This is at 20 degrees of Aries, so we only have, once we get to this date, we only have 10 more days of the Sun in Aries, which, again, Sun is exalted here. But this placement is the Moon is in a fire sign of Sagittarius, coming from the 5th house, making a trine to the Sun in Aries, Jupiter in Aries on the midheaven. So this is this promote of advancement. It's an exalted place of the midheaven of career or reputation. Yeah. And it's a pre-sale, and it's up on the website now.
Correct. And remember that the pre-sales are not made yet. They will be made on that specific date. These ones specifically are Monday, April 10th. And if you do purchase these ahead of time, you get to discuss with Sandy the style and give her a little bit of guidance on the colors. So these BALI talismans are very special. So let's move on to the next one. To see is the intention.
To see.
To see.
It sounds like we're saying something in Balinese, right?
It does.
To see, because there is this beautiful, yummy coconut, the coconut ice. It's not really cream. It's just coconut cream, coconut milk that they, oh my gosh, how we went there one of the first days. And it's called
Tuksi.
Tuki. Tukey. Tukey. So here we're saying to see. To
Right.
see. Okay. My first eyes, along with my second eyes, can see what is in front of me and well beyond my mind's eye. I vision all that is seen and hidden. Now, this is Venus in her own sign, Taurus, sitting on the Pleiades, the little group of stars that are all clustered in the area on the midheaven. Now, inside Pleiades, one of the major fixed stars is Alcyone. And this is where you can see beyond the veil. So it's your first eyes, your third eye or your second eyes, and seeing your mind's eye, right? So it's just to see.
Yeah.
To see.
And
I love this one.
it's simple. So let's move on to the talisman of the month because we're making the announcement for April. And we've decided to switch up this month a little bit. And we want to offer the Venus and Taurus celestial mala and bracelet. Their affirmation is, I take pride in my value and beauty. And we are going to offer these at 10% off until the end of April.
Yeah, that's
So-
nice. And there's only a few left because these were specially made when Venus was in Taurus
And give
some
us
years ago.
Give us an explanation of why you chose Venus and Taurus for this month.
Because Venus is in Taurus this month.
There we go. Okay.
So there's something
Simple.
already made, something already available, something with an immediate
Connection.
immediate purchase ability that is ready.
You don't
It's
have
up.
to. You don't have to wait for
You
it
don't-
to be made.
Although you do have to wait for it to be shipped until I arrive back, which is only 10 days from now. I'll be back into the States and back in my slippers and socks. I hear it's still cold out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can only expect that. Okay, so let's move on to the horizon. Before we left for Bali, or while you were in Bali, before I left for Bali, the April forecast and cheat sheet is ready and waiting for you on the Patreon community page. You can sign up for a free Big Dipper trial. It's 14 days. You get to really experience everything that's involved with that whole Patreon page, which is the forecast, the cheat sheets, webinars.
Particularly the upcoming webinar
Right.
that we're doing.
Speaking of, the April 26th is the date for the CWS webinar, the next one upcoming, which is all about the new eclipse season for 2023.
Right.
You and Susan are going to be documenting.
Yeah, we've
And
got the
forecasting.
April, the May, because it's split. The first one we got in April, the second one, and that first one, April 19th, you'll be here in Bali
I will see it. I will
'Cause
take
it's-
pictures if I can.
because it's during the daytime
Right.
for you.
A
And-
solar eclipse.
and it's total for you.
Total solar eclipse.
In America, we will not see it. Mm-hmm. I won't see it, and oh man, I was like, oh.
I got to find me some glasses.
Yeah, and you know what? Darn, I should.
We should have packed the ones from the total solar eclipse in
Do
the
they
US.
have Amazon Prime here?
No.
No, they don't. Can
No.
you believe it, folks? There is no immediate gratification. It's just living
There
in the
is.
simple.
There
Yeah.
is immediate gratification of just being here and being happy and being alive. That's the immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so simple.
It's not materialistic.
Not at all.
We came out one morning, and I know we might be getting ahead of ourselves. We come out one morning, and there's a lady with a pole in our front balcony yard, and she had this big basket of flowers, and she was reaching up into the tops of the trees, and all of a sudden she would clip something, and a flower would fall. Mm-hmm. And she was preparing the morning's
Offerings.
with collecting, foraging the flowers that are on the property to offer up to the gods.
Yep.
Right outside
So
your door.
cool.
Come on.
Okay, so I
Yeah, sorry.
of course want to wrap up on the horizon. So don't forget, head over to the Patreon community. If you are not a part of it, we would love to have you. There is that free 14-day Big Tipper free trial where you get all of the perks. You'll get to see the April forecast. You'll get to join us for the CWS webinar, and we would love to have you. So Also, we have our upcoming retreats, and we're going to be extending into 2024 a little bit. But this year, September 2023, is our Amargos Greece retreat. There is a pre-retreat that is sold out, and we really only have one spot left for this part 2, the main meal of that retreat in Greece. So you are showing me that we have...
Since you're going to talk about the 2024 Bali, we can talk about the 2024 Mexico.
Yes, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. Casa Tara 2024, the first retreat we do of the year is January 6th through the 13th of 2024. So it's not on the website yet, but I've got the dates, got the contract, we're all set. So put that in your calendar and let us know.
Right.
We can already put you in if you're interested in that. That's 7 days in La Ventana, Mexico. And actually, I've got some people already signed up for it that had gone this past earlier this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and also in April, we have our Bali retreat. We're going to be breaking this up into 2 different parts. And the first retreat is April 3rd through the 14th in 2024. The second part is April 23rd to May 1st, 2024. So you can stay a whole entire month in Bali. Wouldn't that be amazing?
You're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it. The United States or most passports allow a 30-day tourist visa upon entry, and it's an automatic. And why not use all of that time up? Save your vacation days if you need to. But I looked at the astrology. This will be a Mercury. I'll be teaching Mercury here. Mercury will be going retrograde during this period. He'll be going retrograde during the first part and coming out of it the second part. So but you can come to the first one.
Right.
I'll be teaching similar but different things on the second one, but that still keeps you in Bali for that 30 days with a break in between where you could go tour the other parts of the island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah. So...
And actually, I have a Margos already for next year, but I'll hold that because I didn't tell you that date yet.
Okay.
Because we haven't even been to a Margos.
Right. Well, you have. I have not.
Yeah.
Remember, if you are interested in joining us for a retreat, but still have a few questions, receive a free 15-minute reading. You can see if this retreat is right for you, and I will include that link to sign up in the description.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move into our house.
Okay, that's the easiest part.
I have made it to Bali. I really will say the flight was super easy. I slept the entire first leg of the trip.
Which was the 13-hour period.
Right. You gifted me for my birthday a lounge pass for one of the airport lounges in Doha. It was so nice. I got to...
Highly recommend for, what, $69?
Right. It was...
$65?
Right. It was totally worth it. They had showers. They had really nice bathrooms. They were... not like normal airport bathrooms.
They had like lay down areas. They had comfortable seats. They had hot food, cold food, dessert food, sandwiches. They had spaghetti. They had wine and beer and all kinds of juices that were complimentary. And if you have a 10-hour layover or even a 6-hour layover, you need a secluded place to really relax and chill.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was an 8-hour layover. It was easy. I enjoyed the food, the drinks, the tea, the really comfortable chair, the electric port and USB port that was all to myself where I could recharge, literally. And then the second leg of the trip, I stayed awake because at that point it was pretty much morning time in Bali, and I wanted to stay as close to the timing as I could. And it worked.
Yeah.
I really haven't had much of a jet lag on the way here. So
Lucky you got to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you land at a perfect time around 5 o'clock. The sun's still up. You met up with some of the other girls in Doha and arrived, got Koman. Booty was waiting for you.
Booty picked us up, drove over to the pre-retreat location, and it was simple.
Yeah. How funny was that one of the girls is like, what did she say? Badass, whatever, Bass Boss, that retreaters need a pre-retreat and a post-retreat.
Oh,
because some of the girls are staying afterwards the retreat, but they came 3 days in advance. They're like,
right.
Who needs a
pre-retreat for the retreat
and a post-retreat for the retreat?
Right.
But it does help to get your
and
belly,
it extends the trip,
belly, land, legs.
Really,
Yeah.
when you're going so far, it does make it worth it to stay here longer, because you do get to really soak in everything that Bali has to offer, which is way more than amazing sun and temperatures and massages every day and great shopping and wonderful people. There's just so much more to it.
An average massage here is like under $20 for an hour and a half.
All right, so let's just give a quick update on the retreat. And it started on April 1st, and it is now the 3rd. The opening ceremony turned out to be, the opening dinner turned out to be super great.
We kept that quiet until as we were getting ready to leave, and I bring the big speaker into the cars, and some people didn't know who Michael Franti was, but when I started playing his music, they immediately knew who he was because they've heard his music, that we were going to his house. Right. His restaurant, his retreat center. Him and his wife, Sarah, have this massive, and he's had it here for a while. And so we went to dinner there, and you got up and sang.
I did. Well, everyone was chanting my name at the table, and then the other table turned against me as well. And
turned against you in a positive way to say, Alex. They
didn't even know me. And the woman who was singing in the band she had a fabulous voice, and the guitarist was super talented. And so when I went up, she handed me the little iPad and had me select one of, I want to say, hundreds of songs that she had in the repertoire. And I sang 3 songs.
She kept saying, and will you please do another?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all got up and took your videos, and we all danced and even when you stopped singing, because there was a DJ there, man, as well. Yeah.
We started dancing to the DJ.
God,
he was
so
great.
fun.
He was full of energy. Great music. We had a blast.
It was just great vibes there. You know, Michael Franti's restaurant there is called Stay Human, which is a lot like his album, his tour, Stay Human. And we were just really dancing until it was raining outside. We were in a little undercover space. Oh my God, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
So that was a great kickoff place.
Totally.
Because I had scouted that a couple weeks ago when I said, I think I got a new opening dinner place, Alex. You'll be introduced to it at the same time. And we have a great, you haven't seen where we're going for the closing.
Not yet.
But we're going to keep that quiet right now. So in case anybody here is listening to this, that will be, again, another new spot for us to go. We always have some surprises.
Of course. Always.
Always.
And then the next day we had the Tirta pool, which turned out to be a very unexpected surprise. Not only the unexpected surprise of an extremely long line into the spring water.
I tell you what, we were learning Saturn and Pisces. It took a long time to get into the water. That Saturn, self-control to get into Pisces, the water.
But what was really
the
cool
water temple
is that a local village was having a festival, and they brought in a whole jimbaran. It's a band, so with like tons of xylophones and drums and cymbals, and they had a whole entire parade that came through the spring that we were at.
So we were in the water while this came through, and it was a third. What I learned later was it was a ceremony that happens once every 30 years for each village. So it was odd that we happened to be there in the water right at about the eighth water spout faucet kind of thing as
the spring
when this came through, and it was just so it was kind of, you know, when I talked later, it was about like the patience and the like, oh, this is taking forever. You know, we've never seen a line that long. Of course, we went on a Sunday, and that's where the locals go, because locals go to this Turta pool about once a month to do their cleansing and purification. And they usually go on Sunday, you know, with the families. There were babies there. There were kids in there. So the line was very, very long. And we got the reward. You know, Saturn will reward with a lot of hard work.
Right.
And so by being in the patience of it and realizing that this is taking a lot more time than we needed, the delays, I kept pushing off our next thing that we were doing 3 times because it was taking so long, and then all of a sudden they're whistling for everybody to get out of the way. We were already in the water, and this parade of vision, a visionary extravaganza. I mean, I don't want to call it a circus because it wasn't, but it was ceremoniously, everybody was dressed and in costume. And even the girls are looking up going, this is incredible. How do we get here at this right moment of once every 30 years? And it was like, well, Saturn is a 30-year cycle. So, you know, makes sense. Saturn, we are honoring Saturn, so Saturn is rewarding us.
Right.
All the synchronicities, like at the opening, we had the opening ceremony, right? Mm-hmm. So we had that going on way, way, way back in the back area of the Shala. There's a massive grounds here.
Yes.
And some of the girls have gotten lost on the grounds in the forest here. We have. Okay, we got lost too. But and the cat showed up. You know, somebody had come by earlier, like, have you seen a cat? We lost our cat. And please, if you see it, you know, take it over here and here and here and call this and do this. And it was a family came over, right? And sure enough, we just started the opening ceremony, started playing the music, started doing the video, and the cat, meow, meow. It was like, oh, this family's dream is just about to come true. The cat is coming back. Right. And you grab it and it clawed you.
Well, I had to carry it for a long time, and I was carrying it clearly not in the direction it wanted to go, because I was going back to our resort hotel management when it probably wanted to go home to the other resort, which it probably would have gone home anyway had I not intervened. But I brought it up to somebody and said, here's the lost cat. So yeah, it was nice. It was
sweet. And I'm thinking you're behind the board, and I'm like, all right, lights on, Alex.
Nope.
Lights on. Do you hear me? Because I thought you were behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. No. And I realized you weren't there. So I had to go around and go, oh, you're not here. So I put them on myself. Anyway, that was funny.
It was.
Yeah.
And the opening ceremony turned out great. We had our dinner afterwards. Oh, and it downpoured.
Oh, it was pouring.
That was the Pisces element of it all. And it was just very cleansing. It was a very cleansing day. I mean, you talk about being in the water for hours and then going to some rice patties for lunch and then coming back and whoosh.
Well, we had so when you do an offering to a temple, which Ibu Made, who is mother to Booty and mother-in-law to Koman, who we've known for years, prepared our offerings. And of course, when we got to the Turta Empul, to the water temple, she gets her basket head circle out, puts it on her head, and then puts this like 3-tiered.
It looked heavy.
It was heavy. Even Anna carried it, some, and she goes,
Like
and
a
Anna's
grocery bag.
Anna
Yeah.
can carry. She's a strong girl. And she's like, you can't believe how heavy that is. And here is this 55-year-old's neck, so strong, is
So
able to
strong.
carry that and walk in their
With so much
kabaya.
grace.
Yeah.
Bend over, pick something up. It's insane.
And so the part of that we had to do that was very important, that when you place an offering onto the temple and offer it to the gods, you have to then receive it back. So we had to then sit, we all sat in one of the little shalas here and cut open the durian and cut open the white mango and
the
cut
mangosteen
open
and the rambutan and the snake fruit.
skin and the dragon fruit.
Yeah.
And then all the little crackers and cookies. So we had to partake of that so that we
rice
were
cake.
receiving back what we had offered to the gods.
Yes, the sticky rice cake too. So it has been magical
And we're
already.
day 3.
Right, and we're only day 3.
Which is
So-
a yo-yo day for most
Yes.
people.
So thank you everybody for listening in. Salamat malam, Om Swasti Wastu. Have a wonderful day, and we will catch you up next week.
Bye, everyone.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the story of you. The story of you, the story.